God stood beside me. I swore an oath to my countrymen and kin. Side by side we sang our anthem oh so proudly. And this is where a soldier's tale begins. We left for foreign shores in the name of freedom, comrades in arms for the liberty of man. Shoulder to shoulder, but still could not redeem them in God's name, but no one could understand.
Hello, this is the Late Night Veterans Show. I'm the host, Reginald Argue. My guests are Dan Hennessy and Ron McNeil.
I know both you gentlemen have amazing stories to share. Dan, I wanted to start with you. When you first got involved as honorary colonel, what were some of the duties that you had to do?
So 2014, I was involved with the dedication of a monument for Paul Davis, who was killed in Afghanistan. And I became friends with his dad, Jim Davis. And I think at that point in time, the 14 Construction Engineering Squadron were looking for a new honorary colonel. And they had stopped selecting honorary colonels from retired military members because they weren't really involved within the communities. So they started to reach out to folks that were embedded within the communities that would work as a liaison between the Air Force unit and the community. Mine was a little bit different. It was 14 Construction Engineering Squadron. So we have the headquarters and a reservist unit here based in Bridgewater, Nova Scotia. We had one in Pictou, Nova Scotia. There was one in Gander, Newfoundland, and Aldergrove, BC. So it was really coast to coast, and it gave me the opportunity to interact with not just the members, but directly with the communities that they served in, which absolutely amazing.
Also good friends with Terry Kelly, right?
Yeah, Terry was actually the honorary colonel for 14 Wing in Greenwood. So Terry and I became friends, worked on some programs and projects together. One was Operation A Pittance of Time, and that was one that we wanted to make sure the Canadians took whatever amount of time that they could take on November 11th, whether it was 2 minutes or 30 seconds or whatever, to honor those that had served and sacrificed.
Well, you're also involved with a video project called Time to Remember.
Yeah, that was back in 2008. I was a member of Branch 24, Royal Canadian Legion in Bridgewater, and attending just a regular meeting, but it was at that point in time, back in 2008, there was a lot of World War II veterans still with us. And an artist came in to present the branch with a piece of artwork and had asked the question, anybody here this evening involved with the D-Day invasion? And all these hands started to go up around me. And I was always a student of history, and I thought what a great opportunity if some of these men and women would share some of their memories. And remembering when those veterans came home, which is no different than today, but when those veterans came home, they just wanted to get on with their lives. So they kind of locked all of those terrible things that they either did or saw way back in a room in their mind that hopefully they would never open again. So I reached out to the World War II veterans, and 18 agreed to sit down and talk to me. And at the end of it, it was an amazing project. It was edited to, we had the individual videos, but we also did an edited version, which is 28 minutes and highlights of the different things we want to focus on. And on Monday of the week leading up to, or in Veterans Week, we had 250 guests attend a screening at the local theater in Bridgewater. We had transformed the lobby into a French cafe. We had the Bridgewater Fire Department band playing period music. I had gotten a red carpet so that all 18 of the veterans came in just like Hollywood actors, came in to the theater on a red carpet, were directed over and signed a movie poster that we had done up for the occasion. And we walked them into 250 invited guests for the screening of Time to Remember. That was on Monday. And then Tuesday to Friday, the school board on the South Shore bussed in over 2,000 school kids, and they got a chance to see the video and interact with the veterans. So it was an amazing project. I promised each one of those that I interviewed that if they would share some of their memories with me, I would continue to share their memories long after they are no longer with us, and I continue to do that. I've screened it for the Lieutenant Governor of Nova Scotia. I go to schools, I go to nursing homes, cadet corps. What's interesting, when you go to a cadet corps, they're looking at it just like a TV movie. When you go to a seniors residence here locally in Bridgewater, you hear comments like, "Oh, I knew her," or "I knew him." So it's a different audience, but it's pretty amazing. We had two ladies. One was in the British Army, one was in the British Land Army. We had Reverend Ron Mosley, who was a combat chaplain with the 106th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army, wounded twice at the Battle of the Bulge. I mean, it was just, I'm talking to these people, and I have to check myself from time to time that my jaw isn't dropped down. Oh yeah, we came around the corner and then we saw Winston Churchill. I'm going, you saw Winston Churchill? I mean, come on. So yeah, it was an interesting project. It still lives today. I still get booked. I'm booked now for 2 seniors residents already for the week leading up to Remembrance Day. They want to make sure they get on my schedule, but every time I watch it, I laugh. I become emotional because I see at times, and I try to, when I'm showing the video to school kids, I talk to them about those terrible things that just never go away. And I ask them to watch the video very closely, because I said there's times within the video that some of those doors that they had thought were shut tightly and never open again kind of creep open a little bit. And the folks that are on the screen become very emotional. Heading across the North Atlantic on convoy duty, coming across survivors floating in the water, screaming to be picked up, and they knew they couldn't pick them up because they weren't allowed to stop for fear that they would be torpedoed. And those voices, they still hear those voices.
Yeah, I did an interview in the past with the late Jack Ford. He was a photographer, and he was also a photographer for the Canadian Forces during World War II in Europe. He actually met Winston Churchill on an airfield, and he was able to get a picture with him.
Wow.
So,
yeah, she was, this lady was, her and her brother were in London after one of the air raids. And, of course, they'd come out from the underground, and they'd start pulling the wreckage of buildings, trying to save people. And she said, all of a sudden, I heard a commotion around the corner. And she walked around the corner, and walking down the middle of the street with one-piece jumpsuit, his helmet, cigar, and dog on a leash was Winston Churchill.
Yeah.
But I also interviewed a guy. His name was Pierre Alain. Pierre was 13 years old, living in Paris when the Germans invaded. His parents sent him to live in the countryside with his grandparents.
Wow.
And, of course, they wanted him to be safe, but he joined the French resistance. So, he was working very quietly with the French resistance, saving downed airmen. So it was such a diverse group of people, and it was absolutely amazing. It was an amazing experience. And that was back 2008, 2009.
I remember you saying earlier your mouth was hitting the floor when you were interviewing people.
Oh, yeah.
I felt that way when I was interviewing younger veterans. We're talking Paul Franklin, Mark Campbell, Mike Troner, and the list went on, because they're talking about what they went through. And some of them, they're like, well, I was walking around this corner over here, and the first time nothing happened. Then I walk around it, and boom, IED explodes.
Yeah.
And they're so frank about it. And I wanted to end the interview a couple times. I wanted to give them a hug.
Yeah, I know.
I know. At that level, it's like, wow.
But it started in World War I. They called it shell shock.
Yeah.
And it's at least now they have a handle to some degree on what it is. And I mean it can it comes out in different ways, and I mean that goes directly into what you're going to ask me next about pause for thought.
Oh yeah, that one.
Nice segue, Reg. By the way.
Yeah. Well, we were talking earlier about this.
I love the way you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a member of the Order of St. George, which is a 700-year-old organization throughout Canada, the United States, and Europe. And this year, actually, we're 700 years old. So it's no, I wasn't around when it started, Reg. So don't ask.
You got some of those Fred Flintstone toys, though, right?
Yeah. I got that. Yeah, the wheel. We should have met that.
Yeah.
It's broken up into priories across Canada. We are the Atlantic Priory, and our main focus is, of course, we focus on veterans community, cadets, and the junior rangers. Those are the folks that we support. But our charity of choice here in the Atlantic Priory is an organization called Pause for Thought, which was formed back in 2013. And their goal is to pair service dogs up with veterans suffering from PTSD. So the dogs actually are trained in Kansas. The initial training is done at Leavenworth Penitentiary. So there's a group of inmates that are tagged to do the sit, stand, heel, all that type of thing. And then they get paroled, the dogs, not the inmates. And then they bring out veterans and they pair them up with dogs. And of course, they take them out into things that they will experience when they get back home, like in a mall filled with people. And so each service dog is $15,000 base price. So they're not cheap. But I've seen these dogs. These are not CNIB dogs. These are not therapy dogs. These are service dogs, and they are on duty 24 hours a day with their veteran. A friend of mine has one, and Barrett will lay on Greg sits down. Barrett lays down. Barrett lays on Greg's feet so that he can feel his heartbeat, and he can tell when Greg's anxiety is rising because of the increase in his pulse. And they're just so intuitive. So as I said, last year we had a tournament and we raised $13,000. This year the goal was to make sure that we raised enough, but we are actually right now at before the tournament even starts next Saturday, we are at $24,000.
Wow!
So we have.
Wasn't that Pause was founded by a retired Canadian Air Force veteran, wasn't it?
Medrick Kuzno.
Yeah.
Yep, and amazing guy. He's also a member of the Order of St. George, so he's one of my brothers. But so we have $24,000 right now, and the goal now is to raise enough to support the two dogs. And the tournament is actually called the Jim Davis Memorial Golf Tournament, honoring Jim and his service after losing his son in Afghanistan. He started the HOPE organization. You may have heard of that. He was doing peer-to-peer bereavement counseling to the families of others who lost loved ones in Afghanistan. So it was only right. Jim was. He also knew the power of dogs, having two huge Alaskan Malamutes over the years that he would walk through Bridgewater, and it was appropriate to honor Jim, and going forward, it is still the Order of St. George, but it will be the Jim Davis Memorial Golf Tournament.
Well, that's great to hear.
Yep.
Amazing news there. I'm gonna quickly jump over to Ron for a second, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up if you guys want to ask each other some questions. That's why I like the kitchen table sort of attitude. East Coast kitchen table, got lobster cooking in boiling top of the fridge, coffee in hand.
Don't mess around.
Okay.
If you don't have lobster, don't mess around.
Ron, you did that song, "Calling All You Heroes." What's the story behind the song, and also how does it tie into that documentary?
Well, I mean, the documentary was for a charity that I work for children, called For the Love of Children. And the documentary was about the work they do around the world saving kids. And, they've personally sponsored over 1.2 million children around the world. They team up with Martha Hart, who's the widow of Owen Hart, the wrestler. So it's the Owen Hart Foundation. So they work together and they go around the world and they take care of families and children, and they have orphanages, and they give supplies, food, drinking water, all kinds of stuff around the world. So I did the theme song for their documentary with my partner Georgie Lyons. We wrote and produced the track, and I ended up singing the track with some children. We got some children who my wife is a music teacher, so she taught these kids how to sing along with me. So it was nice that I have a deeper voice, and then you have the little angelic voices of the children. And so that was in the Monaco International Film Fest back in 2013. We ended up winning we won the Angel Award for films with nonviolence, wow. and we won Best International Documentary. So some of them are also in this song. So basically what I wanted to do with this song, I wrote this song with Canadian country artist Julian Austin, who does a lot of work for the military.
Love the guy.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine, and we originally wrote the song. It was going to be for him, and somehow it just ended up that I ended up doing it. And we were talking about the soldiers, because Julian does a lot of work with the military, and he knows he's been to Afghanistan to play for the troops, and he's involved in the food bank, the Veterans Food Bank out here, which I'm just starting to find out about now. And so he was gonna do it, and I ended up doing it. And then when we decided to shoot a video for the single, I'm like, Julian, we got to get some of these Army guys and veterans and get them in the video. And he's like, no problem, I'll just make a couple of calls. And the next thing you know, guys, they all showed up, and fantastic guys, fantastic stories. The Princess Patricia's Light Infantry was some of the guys were with them, and they were just amazing guys to talk to. And when you see the video and you see their presence in the video, them standing shoulder to shoulder, it just gives me goosebumps when I watch it, because just to think of what they've been through and what they've done for our country and for all of us.
And there's part of the video too. It shows what reality of war is. You get your armored tanks there, and you got the buildings, that don't not existent. Only a couple of walls existing. It looks like a ghost town, like the moon surface is what I'd say.
And the PPCLI lost a lot of members in Afghanistan. They were frontline troops.
Yeah, and they're they go through some stuff too with being in shock and some of the the mental things they have to deal with. So they were really graceful in their opinions and what they what we got to talk about, and just their experiences. And I feel privileged to have these guys in the video. And every time I see them, when I watch the video, I feel I just feel something special about these guys, that don't get the recognition for what they do around the world, and for, how important they are to us, not only as Canadians, but, obviously Canadians do a lot of work for a lot of people around the world.
Ron, I assume you're the same as me. So when I'm interacting with our veterans, I'm very careful to never say, oh, I know what you're going through.
Oh, yeah, of course not.
Because we have
no idea
whatsoever. All we know is what we do is the easy thing, because our veterans have done all the heavy lifting for us.
Well, what I'm noticing, 95, when I left the military, there was nothing. Like, here's rum and coke now. Get out of sight. PTSD wasn't called that then. It was treated as shell shock. It was treated as you're weak, suck it up, Susie sort of attitude. And to see what now, and to sit down also with the younger veterans when I used to do the video interviews, I can remember at times, I wanted to cry, but I'm starting to see that things are starting to improve for the veterans in the way that there's more programs available. There's more acknowledgement of what happened, right? And I just say to all the veterans out there, if you feel marginalized, you feel lost, you feel like you're alone, you're not. There's so many things out there. And then even this show here, just reach out to Darren or Jerry or myself or Adam. It doesn't matter. Just reach out and speak.
The thing that's really sad is the recognition of our military for long-term care beds.
Yeah.
Because right now at this point, the long-term care beds that are funded by Veterans Affairs Canada are only made available for veterans up to and including the Korean War.
Wow.
Which is very sad because, a couple of months ago was the anniversary of the Persian Gulf.
Mm-hmm.
And
35 years.
And everybody was, patting Persian Gulf veterans on the back and getting their photo ops and having big events. And I'm looking at this saying, yeah, not one of those people in those photo ops is eligible for a long-term care bed.
Yeah. Especially with this.
So it's the battle was won, but the war is far from over for things like that. So there's many, you're right, there's many programs available now, but we have so much farther to go.
Yeah. As I told Veterans Affairs one time, they had one of those community events you come out and talk at, and I said that the Veterans Affairs Charter is it's a living entity. Slowly but surely, it's changing. Is it perfect? No. Can it be perfect? Well, eventually, it can reach close to that. But at this time, there's a lot of work yet left to do. I think they closed down the last Veterans Hospital, St. Anne, in Montreal. That was closed down a couple of years ago.
Well, we had, at one point in time, in Lunenburg, Nova Scotia, we had the Veterans Unit there.
Wow.
There were 23 beds that were allotted paid for veterans.
Wow.
We are now down to 4.
Oh.
And we had a 100-year-old veteran. His name was Lorraine Reinhardt.
Yeah.
He moved from his home, and all he wanted to do was to spend his days that he had left in the Veterans Unit in Lunenburg. And when they attempted to move him in, they had to put him in just a regular unit because the 4 beds were occupied in the Veterans Unit.
Yeah.
One by a veteran, 3 by non-veterans.
Yeah.
But they would not move one of those people out to move him in. So basically they put him on, I call it the Grim Reaper watch. So he had to wait till somebody moved on before he was eligible to get up, which is wrong. I mean, the man did what he had to do. He stood up for the country, and all we did was to say, get in line, wait.
Yeah. Well, the scary thing right now when I'm talking to veterans about this mefloquine and the brain damage it does, one of the side effects, U.S. is saying 38% of the people in their study were affected by it, and they went ahead using it. One veteran was saying 60,000 veterans when they're in the military had to take it. And then I'm sitting down and I'm thinking to myself all these numbers, and I'm thinking, going, whoa. So we have over 20,000 veterans that are going to have some sort of side effects with this, Canada-wide.
Yep.
When they get up to my age, I'll be 59 this year. I think the healthcare system is going to really suffer, and we have to prepare for it now.
It's going to be overwhelmed.
Oh yeah, and it's just scary to think. I mean, I think that's why I started crying when I was interviewing the younger veterans, because I'm looking at what they gave to the nation. They gave everything to the nation, and some of them they lost their limbs, but they're still here. But it's just, wow. To me, that is a real hero. When people are looking for heroes, that's a real hero. Someone that gives everything for other people. So,
But I know I did a lot of work with Terry Kelly, and you probably know Terry, Ron.
I know I've heard tell you.
Terry, I mean, Terry's song "A Pittance of Time" was, has become an anthem for Remembrance Day. And when Terry and I were up in Northwest Territories at one of the the honorary colonel conferences, and there may or may not have been wine involved, just saying. We said, and after someone encouraged Terry and I to sing Barrett's Privateers to everybody that was in the room, we took off to a corner and we said, okay, so let's come up with this idea. And being involved with the military, I said, let's call it Operation A Pittance of Time. So it was born in the Northwest Territories, and it was, we did videos, we did all kinds of stuff to try to encourage people to take that pittance of time, whatever it might be. And then from that, Terry also wrote No Sky Too High to celebrate the RCAF 100, and it's an absolutely brilliant piece of music.
he's got that on video on YouTube, or?
Yes, he does. Yeah, it's called No Sky Too High. It's incredible. And but yeah, so
Wow.
we just have to keep doing what we're doing, and doing your piece to honor those that have served, and to pay tribute to those that have sacrificed.
Well, that's the most important thing about this platform, is letting veterans, supporters, family members, let them come on and let the stories continue, even with the fallen, and let their memories live on throughout.
Well, I did a ceremony in Liverpool for a gentleman by the name of Philip Crouse, who had lost his life on a UN peacekeeping mission in Egypt back in 1967, I think. But his mother was the Silver Cross mother in Bridgewater, Anita Hyatt. And after I did some more research, he had gone to Liverpool Regional High School. So I got a plaque made up for him, and I reached out to the mayor at the time in Liverpool, who was originally from England, and I invited him to this ceremony. And he said, why are we honoring someone who died so long ago? So, of course, my inside voice wanted to say very nasty things to him, like things like, if it wasn't for people like that, your family would be eating sauerkraut in England, or schnitzel. But what I did say to him, and it's become kind of a catchphrase, is that I said, Your Worship, I said, you have to remember something, that there is no expiration date on remembering.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of one of those things that, when you say it, it's so true. And we can never stop.
That's what I love about the last 3 years, when I was able to write a poem for Remembrance Day and then just give it to you. Either I recited it or you got someone else to recite it.
Yeah.
I got another one happening in the head right now, so something's coming down the pipe sort of thing.
I'm sure at 5 a.m. some morning my phone will light up.
Well, look at this!
And there will it be.
I have insomnia. I can't sleep that well at night. I'm more writing.
I don't.
So many people have said to me, "Don't you sleep?" And I'm like, "Sleep? What's that?"
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start turning my phone face down.
Yeah, your grandfather there, Ron. World War II stories. What were some of them that really stick out in your mind?
One that my grandma told me was, I called her Nanny. She was called Nanny down east. That's a lot of people call their grandmas nannies. But my nanny told me that my grandfather was with the engineers, and he served in World War II. He was fighting in Italy, and they were building bridges and stuff for the tanks to cross, and they had come under fire, and there was an explosion close to him, and he ended up in a ditch, passed out. And when he woke up, he had a snake wrapped around him. So he had to get the snake off him, and he pulled the snake Like he grabbed the snake by the back of the neck and pulled it off, and he had to take out his gun and shoot the snake.
Yeah.
So just woke up, passed out with a snake around him. So, yeah, also my grandfather was the president of his legion in our hometown in New Brunswick, in Chipman, New Brunswick, where I grew up for a few years before we moved out west.
Yeah.
So that's one of the stories that my grandma used to tell me, and I couldn't quite get it straight in my head. You know, I was thinking, what? Like this is like it's like from a movie or something. You know, they drop some kind of bomb, you get thrown, and you wake up with a snake wrapped around you. Crazy story.
We had one of the veterans that were in my video was a guy by the name of Bert Eagles, and Bert was 30, maybe 30 when he was going overseas. And he talked about going over in the Aquitania, deep down in the bowels of the ship. And anyway, he was part and parcel of the whole video project. Now, I always took the video into Newcomville Elementary School grade 5 class every year prior to Remembrance Day, because they were the ones that were responsible for organizing the Remembrance service. So over the years, I would take it in, and my daughter was in school with his great-grandson. So as the years progressed, all of a sudden, this one year, Aidan Campbell was sitting in the classroom when the video came up on the screen, and there is his great-grandfather. So he got to see his great-grandfather. He got to hear his great-grandfather's voice.
Wow.
And I thought,
amazing.
That is absolutely that's priceless. Because how many of us can say, yeah, I knew what my great-grandfather sounded like or looked like or everything else. So he just sat there, total amazement. And it was so amazing to be able to give him that piece that he can now see it anytime he wants in the video.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
You want to continue on with another story there, Ron, from your grandfather?
I don't really know too many stories about him. I know that he was decorated, that he had won quite a few awards, and I know that we had a house fire when I was about 18 years old at my parents' house, and pretty much everything went. And the thing that really upset my mother the most was that the plaques and the actual medals from my grandfather got destroyed in the fire. But luckily, she sent a letter to the government, and they replaced the medals and stuff. So that was a pretty cool thing.
And when you were working on that, doing that video, calling all you heroes, I thought Scott Casey was there.
Scott Casey, yeah.
Yeah, and with some of the stories that they were talking about too.
I mean, they were just very grateful that we were bringing attention to the soldiers. That we were recognizing them as heroes. And I mean, my friend Julian Austin, who is really involved with the food bank for the veterans and all kinds of events, and he plays shows for them. He does fundraisers for them, which I played a fundraiser with him last year, and I think I'm heading up for the birthday of the Princess Patricia's in August. They're having a celebration, and I think I'm going to go up with Julian and play some songs up there, maybe play this new song, Heroes. They're basically just very grateful that we're showing, who they are and having them in the video. They were more than they had to stand around a lot because the production takes a whole day. So they were very gracious and very grateful, and just really amazing people. And it's people like them that deserve the recognition for all they've done for us. So hopefully by having them in the video and people getting to hear the song and see the video, we bring a little recognition to the heroes, the military, the doctors, the nurses, the firefighters, the people that are out there, the children's foundations, the people that are out there doing the work, because it's everyday people that are doing the work to make us, who we are and make this great country that we have. And these are the people that should get recognized. I find, nowadays it's pretty easy to find people on the internet with very negative things and people are, they're getting followed by millions of people, and it's very negative. And I think through this song and through the video, I'm just trying to shed a little light on some of the positive stuff and that comes with these military guys and with these people that are everyday heroes.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I noticed Dan's been doing all along, and stuff that I've been talking about is the fact that, there are a few of us that are like heroes. I'm not a hero, but I know people that are heroes, and it is an honor to sit down with people that have done so much just to make a huge difference in the world. Because we're nothing but caretakers, and the younger generation is going to come along and they take over. I want to give them a better world than what we're living in,
Yeah, I find that there's a lot of negativity on the internet, and this negative people, they're trying to attach some kind of stigma to them that it's cool to do this or cool to be this way, and then they get all these followers and stuff like that. I think it's pretty cool that these guys went over and fought for our country and kept peace and saved lives, and they're just regular people. That's a special thing, and I mean, I'm really glad that Julian has got me involved in this. And like I say, he's a driving force behind it. He's always talking about the veterans. He goes out of his way to go out of town to events for the food bank, and he's always making sure. He met a veteran the other day, and he asked him how he was doing, and he said, I'm not doing that great. And he said, listen, I got to hook you up. And he hooked him up. He actually hooked an American veteran who was living in Canada. He hooked him up with the food bank as well, because he was having problems, right? So it's people like that are doing these great things, and I'm just honored that my song and Julian's song gets to be gets to show some recognition for these people and just shed a little bit of light on what they do. And there's a scene in the video where the soldiers are crossing the bridge with their guns, and it's like, wow, this is like serious stuff. And the scene that you mentioned earlier with the tanks and the buildings and all the rubble, like it's a scary thing. And thank God we have our Canadian military forces doing good works around the world.
Yeah, we're a kind of small force, but we make up for it. When I was in the military, it's like the American military at the time. I did 7 people's job. In the U.S. military, it took 7 people to do my job.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that was just like, if your tire goes flat, you don't change your tire. You're kidding, right?
Yeah.
They'd be yelling at us to change that tire. I'm sure Dan would be basically, hey, I got to change that tire over there. But that's that's what I love about this is just sitting here and talking about stuff. But I love your song. First time I interviewed Julian Austin, I went something like, and I forgot his name. So Julian probably remembers that one too. So.
Yeah, I'll talk to him about that tonight after we're done here. I'll give him a call.
Awesome.
Actually, we're neighbors. We're neighbors. We just live a couple blocks away from each other. So
Airdrie.
Yeah, in Airdrie, Alberta. So and it's the interesting story about Julian is that we're from the same town in New Brunswick, and I didn't, but I didn't meet him until in Calgary until the 90s, and now we're neighbors. We both live in Airdrie, so we write a lot of songs together now, and I go to his house to write, and he comes to my house. And this time he came to my house for this song, and we felt it when we wrote the song. Like I had goosebumps when I wrote the song, which that's not a normal thing. You write a song, I like it or whatever. But this was there was a special feeling behind the song when we were writing it, and we both got goosebumps, and I was like, wow, this song's special. We got to do something with it and get it out there.
Yeah. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it open for next about 5-10 minutes. You guys want to ask each other a question. Then I'm going to share a poem. I call it the the Professor's Corner, nickname they gave me with Professor, so I'm going to call that Professor's Corner, where I'm going to share a poem afterwards. But I'm going to let you guys talk right now. If you have any questions you want to ask, sort of thing, please go ahead.
One of the other songs that Terry Kelly did was "Heroes of the Home Front," and it really focused on what you were saying, Ron, about the first responders, the paramedics, all of those folks. They're the heroes of the home front. They're the ones that we rely on every day. The police, the fire, the first responders, the EHS folks. So we wrote a song called "Heroes of the Home Front," and it's the whole idea. The catchphrase is "Thumbs up for the heroes of the home front," and it really had a lot of impact because we certainly don't want to forget those people because they serve such an integral part of our lives. And so if you get a chance to listen to that one as well, it's a pretty good track.
Well, I think that's fantastic. I think for me, music is such a powerful force to connect with people, and it's a different avenue to get your ideas and points across. Everything's not about, hey girl, get in my pickup truck and country music anymore, what it's been for the last little while. I like the old school country kind of stuff, which is telling stories, and this is a great media to connect with people that that just might not hear about this kind of stuff. They might not even be interested in it, and maybe a song can make somebody change their mind. It can give them a feeling, it can give them an insight, and what a great gift it is to be able to write a song to connect with people and touch somebody's life. So I'm really grateful for the song. I just got added to 780 radio stations around the world internationally, so that's that's a special thing. And the responses I've been getting from around the world have been fantastic. And now I'm grateful to be on this podcast. Maybe some more veterans will hear the song and maybe see the video and show that, that there's people out there interested in what they do and people that are grateful for what they do.
Well, I can tell you right now, I will certainly share your song and your video for sure, because I'm dealing with a lot of veterans, past and present. So I'll make sure that whatever exposure I can do, I will certainly do on your behalf, Ron.
Well, I appreciate that, and I thank you for all the work you're doing. You're such a well-spoken individual, and obviously there's quite a bit to what you do. And just from listening to you and hearing about all the events and stuff, and I'm grateful for people like you that are actually out there making a difference and recognizing these people. Like I said, my grandfather was also the president of his Legion, so I've heard a few stories. He was kind of a no-nonsense kind of guy, so he's kind of like my, I guess I get that from him as well. And he's one of those guys that didn't take shit from anybody. Let's put it that way, if we can say that.
so it's kind of funny how the wheel keeps rolling, because when I met Jim Davis in 2014. And then in 2015, we dedicated because CP Rail, and I'm not sure if you knew this, CP Rail started during Afghanistan. They started providing these beautiful brass plaques to the families of the fallen. 158 of them were sent out to do with what they wanted to do. So every family had one. Jim had one. And he asked me, he said, would it be something you'd be interested in doing something behind the school where Paul went? And I said, of course. So I did we put the monument in 2014, we dedicated it. At that ceremony, Rick Green's mother, again, PPCLI, who was killed in 2002, Rick and 3 of his comrades were the first 4 Canadians killed in Afghanistan. Wow. When the friendly fire incident took place. And she said, do you think we could do one of these for Ricky behind Forest Heights Consolidated School in Chester Basin? I said, absolutely. So I went through the whole thing again. The whole school was involved. It was an amazing ceremony. At that ceremony, Nathan Smith's dad, Lloyd, he said, is there any way we could do one of these for Nathan at Eastern Shore District High School? I said, absolutely we can. So it was just one after another. And since that, they have been absolutely, CP Rail has been absolutely incredible. They did the plaque for Philip Krause in Liverpool. They also did when Stalker 2-2 crashed, the Cyclone helicopter off of Greece. I reached out to them. They provided plaques for the families of all of those victims, and those were actually done at 12 Wing Shearwater. It was part of the main monument. But I had another one done for Brendan McDonald, who was the aircraft commander, and we did a monument up in New Glasgow, Nova Scotia, in Brendan's honor. So they've been absolutely incredible. We did one for Jen Casey, who was killed with the snowbirds. So it's just a matter of I call them, I text them, I say, hey, listen, can you do this? So they've been amazing. So CP Rail was huge with the Canadian military during the war because the trains would take all of the soldiers across Canada to the Maritimes to get on ships to go overseas. So there's a real tight connection with CP Rail and the Canadian military. So, and they continue to support today with these programs.
Nice.
All right,
That's
Professor.
amazing.
All right, Professor, you ready?
Yeah, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to switch over. I was going to try to get this mouse to work on me. I'm going to do something called the Professor's Corner. I share this poem that I wrote. I feel like it's speaking to a lot what we're talking about. It's called Unbreakable. Tattered and torn, a few souls have battled against the darkness in our realm, refusing to bow or yield, protecting the flickering lights of others. They emerged from a place where they're told to get to the back of the bus, in a period when they were marginalized and kept in invisible chains. Yet with the rising and warmth of the sun, they rose, standing like tall angels with wings covered in soot and singed tips. They fought not for themselves, but as champions of a higher purpose, serving as instruments of change. They held the torch of liberty and justice, raising it high for the whole world to witness that we can all create a brighter future than ever thought possible. They urged us to dream, even in our moments of tremendous pain and tears. As they pressed on, they inspired others while battling their own demons at night. They stood tall, refusing to surrender, screaming at their demons and declaring that their days of control were over, demanding that they leave our midst. Their message of hope and resilience shone brightly, inspiring us to persist and believe in ourselves, even when the world around us became darker than the coldest night. No matter how strong the darkness struck, they stood firm, demonstrating to those around them that changes come from individuals through spirits, through individuals whose spirits cannot be broken or confined. These few have shown us that our spirits are unbreakable, standing tall and becoming instruments of change for generations to come. And that's the poem right there, Unbreakable.
It's amazing.
Very nice.
I have dyslexia, people, so you know what? I'll stutter at times. I'll basically, it might be I have to struggle a little bit, but I don't let it stop me. And then people out there listening right now, don't use dyslexia as an excuse. Use an excuse to inspire yourself, saying, look, yes, I got this, but I'm going to continue going past it.
Amen.
I want to reach for, for the gold, for the top, right? So, Ron, I'm going to get you to share a little bit more, maybe some points that you didn't cover. I want to hear a little bit more about that hero song too. And then I'll get Dan, I'll get you to do the same thing. And I'll sort of share a couple words, and then we'll just end it after that, then if you guys would like.
Sure. Well, we shot the video in Calgary at the Ranchmans. And pretty much all the guys that are that aren't on the stock footage are people that we know. So, the Love of Children Foundation, Martha Hart, Ricky Harrison from my community in Bowness is a guy who was walking down the street, and he saw a house on fire. He saw a lady fall down. He went in to try to get into the house. He got blown back by a backdraft. And so then he went around to the back of the house, crawled in through the bedroom window, found the lady in the smoke, pulled her through the house, back to the bedroom, up the wall, through those tiny little bathroom windows, and got her out to safety. Just a regular guy. He starts the video out. Just a regular guy was out walking to the store to buy a pack of cigarettes in the middle of the night. He's a local hero. So what I tried to do was get some local heroes. Martha Hart, exactly, with the Hart Foundation, for all the work they do around the world, around the globe. Asheed Ball from the Love of Children, and then I relied on Julian to get us guys like Scott Casey and some of the other veterans to come in and be part of the video. So we shot the video at the Ranchmans and we released it. So far, the video is doing really well. But what I'm finding is we're doing better on the shorts. We have little posts where we have 30 seconds of the video. And that's at 126,000 views already around the world. So that's pretty big numbers. The video's at around 2,800 full watches. I realize people don't spend 4 minutes watching a video, but if they do, we put a lot of work into this video, and I think they'll like what they see, and they'll feel something in the song. And having these real people in the video that have actually gone through situations, these are real heroes. And it's about the choices that we make in life, and everybody can be a hero if they step up. So I think if the video gets out, the more the video gets out and the song gets out, the more impact it can have in a positive way. So I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited to be on this podcast, and I'm really excited to share it with the world.
Awesome. I was also reading that you were spent some time down in Nashville, and then also traveling. You've done to Canada, basically the United States, over to Africa when you're touring.
I had a #1 hit song in South Africa a couple years ago. So that's where I started some relationships over there, and we will be. I'm trying to plan a tour next year to go back to Australia. Australia is really supporting this song right now. It's on 4 different charts in the top 10 over there. So I've done radio interviews in Australia with Oz, top 30 radio hits, and they're just being very supportive of it. They feel that the message needs to get out, and they've treated me just so graciously. I'm just blown away by the support that I'm getting in Australia, South Africa, Ireland, places like that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dan.
Well, Ron, you're just like a Canadian Crocodile Dundee. But
I used to have one of those Crocodile Dundee hats. Actually, that's funny.
You got to start wearing it, brother. but it's the people in Australia, they recognize the military, and because during World War II, they were very close to being invaded by the Japanese, and Australia was a real hotbed for Allied troops that were there, and I'm sure there's a lot of Australian wives taken home, but they're very understanding, and it's funny because there's a lot of countries, and Reg, you know this too, like in Europe, that Canadians are absolutely revered. You get some of our cemeteries over in Belgium and those areas, they are looked after and manicured on a regular basis by the local residents.
Jamie's one of them.
Yeah, I was in South Korea in October, and the South Koreans just absolutely love Canadians because of what the Canadians did during the Korean War. In fact, we went to the demilitarized zone, and I had a camera bag with one of the little Canadian flags that I used to wear on my combats. And one of the ROK soldiers got on the bus just to check our passports, and immediately he went down and looked at the Canadian flag, and he was looking at the flag, and he was looking at me, and looking at the flag, and looking at me. And I looked at him, and I said, "Here." And I ripped it off, and I gave it to him. He immediately put it on his combats, and I went, "Yeah, it might look good now, but if one of your senior officers see it on there, you'll probably catch hell." And but yeah, Canada is recognized around the world. And it's we've done some great things, and we continue to do some great things. And are we the biggest? Nope. But we're one of the best trained and most recognized, and most just loved, I guess is the word that you can use.
Do you have any major events coming up there, Dan, for the summer?
We do. We recognize events throughout the year. I mean, we start off with Vimy Ridge Day. We did D-Day. We did the Battle of the Atlantic, and we included the Sea Cadet Corps in there, and we spoke about, or we read off every ship that was lost, and they brought their bell and rang the bell. We've got UN Peacekeeping Days. We've got Indigenous Veterans Day was the first one we did last year. First time we did one last year, because one of our Legion executives is First Nations, and he said, "Do you think we can do one?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely." I said, "You organize it." I said, "You leave the piece in there for the Legion stuff." And Jeremy did an amazing job, and we had an amazing ceremony. So we have that one, and we're going to do the Korean War veterans this year. And then, of course, you're right into Remembrance Day, where we have probably 2,500 people at Veterans Memorial Park in Bridgewater. So it's an amazing. And you've been there, Reg. It's an amazing. It's an amazing ceremony.
Ron, what do you have planned for the summer and coming up to the fall? Anything major happening?
I think I'm going for the 80th birthday of the Princess Patricia's Light Infantry. I think I'm going to be going up there and playing a couple songs with Julian. We're just trying to get that worked out. I think that's August 6th. I believe it's their 80th birthday. Just, playing music. I've just produced a record for a young fella in Calgary who's a great guitar player. So I'm, doing the music thing. Still working, doing heating and air conditioning, and just living life every day.
Well, I want to thank Dan Hennessy and Ron McNeil for coming on and being guests with me today. Thanks, both of you guys.
Thank you for having us. And Dan, pleasure to listen to you. Pleasure to meet you. You're very well spoken, and I love what you're doing. It's a great thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And thanks, Reg. I mean, you're always, you're not just the handsome man. You're actually functionally good at what you do.
Well, you see, I got a taste of Elmer's radio loves. How I look at it.
But you got a cool AKA, the professor.
Yeah.
The professor, I like it.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, guys. Hey, Reg, is it true that all the British veterans that are watching, all they have to do is give you a call and you'll buy them a pint?
Hey,
well, I've got your credit card, so it's no big deal. Take care, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
I pledged allegiance to the flag God stood beside me. I swore an oath to my countrymen and kin. Side by side we sang our anthem oh so proudly. And this is where a soldier's tale begins. We left for foreign shores in the name of freedom, comrades in arms for the liberty of man. Shoulder to shoulder, but still could not redeem